The Great Jellybean Adventure. Chapter 1. The Legend of the Jellybean Tree. In the heart of Sweet Springs, a village where candy flowers bloom and chocolate rivers flow, lived a boy named Toby. This wasn't any ordinary place. Sweet Springs was a wonderland of confectionery delights, where every day was sweeter than the last. Yet, even in a land brimming with sugary pleasures, legends spoke of a marvel beyond compare, the Jellybean Tree. It was said to be a magical entity that bore the rarest and most delightful jellybeans once every 100 years. Toby, a spirited and adventurous lad with an insatiable curiosity, was enchanted by tales of this legendary tree told by his great-grandmother. Her stories painted vivid pictures of a tree so magnificent that its branches stretched towards the sky, adorned with jellybeans that sparkled like gems under the sun. Each bean was a vessel of unparalleled flavor, promising tastes from the familiar to the fantastical. Despite the skepticism of his peers, who deemed the Jellybean Tree a mere fairy tale, Toby held on to the belief that the tree was real and dreamt of discovering it. His great-grandmother had passed down tales of its last known blooming, a spectacle of wonder that had brought joy and amazement to those fortunate enough to witness it. Toby yearned to experience that wonder firsthand. One crisp morning, as Toby wandered through the village, pondering the secrets of the Jellybean Tree, a sudden flash of colors caught his eye. A rainbow, brilliant and full, arched across the sky, its end touching down just beyond the outskirts of Sweet Springs. Remembering tales of rainbows leading to wonders untold, Toby felt a surge of excitement. Could this be a sign, a guide to the Jellybean Tree? Without a moment's hesitation, Toby set off, following the rainbow's path. It led him into the gummy bear forest, a place of squishy ground and gummy foliage, where the air was always thick with the scent of fruit and sugar. The deeper Toby ventured, the more vibrant the forest became, until at last he found himself in a clearing unlike any other. There, bathed in the light of the rainbow's end, stood the Jellybean Tree. It was more magnificent than Toby had ever imagined. Its trunk twisted skyward, crafted from swirls of sugar that sparkled in the sunlight. Its leaves were a kaleidoscope of colors, each shimmering with a sugary sheen. And hanging from its branches were jelly beans of every imaginable color, each promising a flavor adventure. As Toby approached the tree, his heart pounding with excitement, the tree spoke, its voice a gentle rustle like leaves in the wind. "Welcome, young seeker. You have found the Jellybean Tree, a treasure of Sweet Springs. But beware, for not all is as it seems." Intrigued and undaunted, Toby asked, "How may I taste the magic of your jelly beans?" The tree, amused by Toby's boldness, replied, "Each jelly bean offers a unique flavor, from the sweetest delights to the most curious tastes. But the true magic lies in finding the Golden Jellybean. It alone holds the wisdom to appreciate every flavor's joy." Thus began Toby's delightful quest. He sampled jelly beans of every hue, experiencing flavors that danced on his tongue. Sunshiny lemon, tangy pickle, and even whimsical tastes like popcorn and marshmallow filled his senses with surprise and wonder. With each bean, Toby's world expanded, his eyes opening to the endless possibilities of taste. As the day waned, casting long shadows across the clearing, Toby's determination only grew. He searched tirelessly among the branches until at last, his fingers brushed against something unlike any other bean. It was the Golden Jellybean, glowing softly amidst its colorful counterparts. With a heart full of anticipation, Toby tasted the Golden Jellybean. A rush of pure joy flooded through him, a blend of every flavor he had ever imagined, and more. He realized then that the true magic of the Jellybean Tree wasn't just in the discovery of new tastes, but in the adventure of seeking them out, and the joy found in every experience, whether sweet, sour, or somewhere in between. The Jellybean Tree, pleased with Toby's revelation, chuckled warmly. "You have understood the essence of the Jellybean Tree, Toby. Life, like jelly beans, is full of varied flavors, and each one adds its own sweetness to the journey." As Toby made his way back to the village, the pockets of his coat heavy with jelly beans, he knew he had embarked on an adventure that would stay with him forever. The Jellybean Tree, once a legend, had become a part of his story, a reminder of the wonders that awaited those brave enough to seek them. The chapter closes with Toby, under the starlit sky of Sweet Springs, dreaming of his next adventure and the tales he would one day tell of the day he discovered the magic of the Jellybean Tree. Chapter 2: The Festival of Flavors. With the Golden Jellybean's wisdom still warm in his heart, Toby returned to Sweet Springs, his mind buzzing with ideas. The villagers, who had watched Toby grow from a curious child into a bold adventurer, were eager to hear of his journey to the Jellybean Tree. As Toby shared his tale, the wonder in his eyes ignited a spark of excitement among the listeners. It wasn't long before an idea, as sweet and bright as the jellybeans themselves, took root in the village. Together, they decided to celebrate Toby's discovery with the first-ever Festival of Flavors, a day dedicated to exploring the vast array of tastes that life, much like the Jellybean Tree, had to offer. The festival would not only honor the Jellybean Tree's magic, but also serve as a reminder of the joy found in the diversity of experiences. Preparations for the festival began at once. Banners in every color of the Jellybean rainbow were hung from the lampposts, and stalls were erected in the village square, each promising a unique taste adventure. From candy craftsmen to pastry chefs, everyone contributed, creating treats inspired by the flavors Toby had discovered. On the morning of the Festival of Flavors, Sweet Springs was a sight to behold. The air was filled with the scent of sugary delights, and the sound of laughter and music danced on the breeze. The villagers, dressed in vibrant attire, gathered in the square, their excitement palpable. Toby, appointed the guest of honor, led the opening ceremony. With a smile as bright as the Golden Jellybean itself, he invited everyone to embark on a taste adventure, to savor the sweet and the sour, and to find joy in every flavor. The festival was a whirlwind of discovery. There were jellybean tasting booths, where villagers could sample exotic flavors, from spicy cinnamon to cool mint, and everything in between. A jellybean art contest encouraged children to create colorful mosaics, their imaginations fueled by the stories of the Jellybean Tree. Perhaps the most anticipated event was the Great Jellybean Cook-Off, where the village's best chefs competed to create dishes that incorporated jelly beans in the most imaginative ways. The results were astonishing, ranging from jellybean glazed ham to jellybean infused ice cream, each dish a testament to the creativity and spirit of Sweet Springs. As the day turned to evening, the villagers gathered for the festival's highlight, a grand tasting of the joy beans, a special variety of jelly beans that Toby had brought back from the Jellybean Tree. These beans, shimmering with all the colors of the rainbow, were said to contain the essence of pure happiness. With the first taste of the joy beans, the air seemed to shimmer, and for a moment, it was as if the Jellybean Tree's magic had enveloped the entire village. Smiles spread from face to face, and the villagers danced under the stars, their hearts light with the joy of shared discovery. The Festival of Flavors came to a close with Toby and the villagers gathered around a bonfire, sharing stories and dreams under the night sky. Toby looked around at the faces illuminated by the firelight, his friends, his family, his community, and knew that the true magic of the Jellybean Tree was not just in its flavors, but in the way it brought everyone together. The Festival of Flavors would become an annual tradition in Sweet Springs, a day to celebrate the diversity of life and the sweetness of community. And as for Toby, his adventure with the Jellybean Tree had only just begun. For in his heart, he carried the wisdom of the Golden Jellybean, a reminder that every flavor, every experience, adds its own unique sweetness to the journey of life. And so, the tale of the great Jellybean adventure reminds us to embrace the vast array of flavors life offers, finding joy and wonder in the diversity of our experiences.